There's a lot of beautiful things that are going on in the collective energy, but I know that there are a lot of people that are kind of hanging on by shoestrings, per se, is what Spirit is saying to me. So I'm going to break things down here as they allow me to step into the energy and see what details or what may be going on that you guys may need, because when I step into this space collectively, not only are we going to be opening up and tuning into the collective energy here of the consciousness, but we're also going to be diving in possibly to specific things that you guys need, okay? There's not really anything here. The last couple times that I've come on, a lot of the times there was a message that I would receive or transcribe before I went on, but a lot of the times now, Spirit's like, speak, talk to them about, see what it is that they need, see what it is that they're going through. But the energy has been crazy and it's kind of been really electrifying. All right. So the energy has shifted in many different ways, and there's many things that have lifted to astrology, and astrology plays a lot into this right now and what's going on, but a lot of other things do collectively. We're talking about not only your hometown energy, but the things that you're around and all the different energies that are going on, not only just with Gaia and through the atmosphere here, but in the collective. And so a lot of people are feeling a lot of energy that feels like electricity or lightning per se on the outside of their bodies, but they're also feeling it inside. They're feeling this call and they're feeling this drive, and sometimes they just don't know. They're waiting for the uncertainty to show itself. One of the things that I was shown and told the other day by the divine, which was beautiful because it really is true and rings true as we settle into these energies and bring out some of the messages that you guys specifically need. And if there's something that you want to know, no bullshit, throw it up. And if it's meant to be known or shown, my team will pick it up and we'll deliver it here to you in the seams. Or if you would like a more personal, detailed read, you can make a donation there in the link in the bio. But here's what I was shown. As soon as you have questions, you will receive your answers. So if you have questions now, you will receive your answers. And if you have answers, you will soon receive questions. So think about it this way. It's chop wood, carry water. If you have questions now, you're going to receive your answers. If you have answers, you're soon later going to have questions. So it's really about this whole shift in your perspective of your reality, which is changing your frequency moment by moment. A lot of people don't understand the energy that's going on. It's making them feel chaotic inside. There's a lot of anxiety. People are hanging on by like their shoestrings per se, energetically. There's a lot of different ploys. There's a lot of different plays. There's a lot of things that are going on. And remember, so long I preached and I taught and I spoke the very essence of that message of spiritual discernment. And I told you 3 years ago there was going to come a time then the most important thing that you had online was your spiritual discernment, your spiritual gut, that belly button that says, something's up. And I don't know if you guys know about this or any of you guys have seen this here. But on my FYP for the last 4 days, there's been videos that was like, if this video landed on your FYP, you're a part of Group 7. I smile and laugh because I know that the moment that the divine tries to place me in any type of segregated group, there's a questioning there. So me as the prophetic that I am and the voice that I am, and the voice to people, for people, from the divine, of course, I took that into my telephone booth. Yeah, I have a God's phone booth, and it literally is the size of a phone booth. And when I pray and I commune and I ask for that, I have a phone booth. It's literally the size of a phone booth, and I sit in there and I divine until I get my answers. And my husband didn't even know about this. He's like, what the hell is Group 7? And I was like, just wait. So 3 days ago, I started to receive messages, quote unquote, on my FYP about Group 7. And I questioned, I said, so if there's Group 7, what's Group 1 through 6? Something didn't sit right in my belly with it, 110%. And when something doesn't sit right within my heart space or my belly, I know that's because there's more to what's going on. So as I started to jump down the rabbit hole with the divine, the very first word that I heard was psyop. And I was like, oh, like everything else, like the whole new age spirituality, because I've been practicing different types of spirituality since I was 15. Many different denominations, backgrounds, creeds. I've had many different mentors in many different ways. And the one thing that I found in unison is it all leads to the Christ consciousness pathway, the heart-centered space, each and every one of them. And so when I saw this, I was like, okay, psyop. So it's another ploy, right? And that was the second word that I picked up. And so I started to do research on this, and I started to research where this came from, because I knew it was something that didn't fit right within the truth of the sacred divinity in which I was being given. And the next thing that I found out is that Group 7 thing came from a singer-songwriter as a marketing ploy. And she made 7 different videos, and the last one was Group 7. And based upon TikTok's algorithm, more than likely, the last video that she made is the first one that everybody picked up on their FYP. So then everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Oh, I'm part of Group 7. Oh, I'm part of Group 7. Oh, I'm part of Group 7. And there's many different videos about Group 7s, right? And it started to turn my gut. Because then what I was shown, not only was it a spiritual ploy to make people feel elite or to make people feel segregated, because remember, the divine unity is in unison. There's no segregation. There's no exploitation. So when you see things and new themes pop up like that, sit with your discernment. I never saw anything like this. I've never seen so much spiritual bullshit put on an app. When I came here in 2019 and I stepped on this app, I was like, what are you guys doing? Because all the verbiage had changed, all the words had changed, and I will meet somebody that's old. I'm scrying. I'm talking about dream walking. They're talking about astral traveling. I'm talking about, seeing through scrying. They're talking about the looking glass. And I'm like, wait a minute, all these different things and all the different voices and all the different things that come around. When I was told by Yeshua and I was told by the divine itself, what good is tongues if my people can't understand it? That's when I was given a mission to break things down on every single level, not only from a higher consciousness, but to a human embodiment so that people could understand what was really going on. So Yeshua always spoke in parables, and there were always different levels, right? And so me being who I am and working in this theme since 2019 on this app, I started to understand that in order for people to hear me in unison, I had to break things down on all levels. Not only interstellarly, cosmically, put it in that verbiage, higher selfly, but also in a way that it would make sense to people in their perception, right? And also in a way where they could feel that resonance of the frequency in which I was speaking. And so that's the wholeness of the embodiment of the divine, because we're going to give it to you in multiple different ways so you can understand it in parallels and in unison. And sometimes we're speaking to the higher mind, and sometimes we're speaking to the human mind, and sometimes we're speaking to the spirit of the heart, and sometimes we're speaking to the soul. But eventually it all comes online here. And so when I was shown that there are these different experiments and there's these different psyops to get people wrapped up into getting caught, rather than the house of the divine inside. And one of the things that truly made me sad about seeing this whole Group 7 psyop was not only the diversity and trying to push people around and away from you don't understand what it does to people's mentality. Think about people that are in a place of just waking up and not understanding reality. And then you're telling them there's a group that they're a part of, that's some type of elite group. And then later on, they're on this bandwagon of this elite group, but yet they don't have the spiritual foundation of the understanding of what's going on within them or around them, and you've just led them on a loop. Congratulations, you're a part of the problem, not the solution. And that is what this is doing. This is hurting so many people, because then they think they're a part of something elite. They are. but not in a group segregated way, not in a way that diversifies the truth and reality, not in a way that disguises it, not in a way that's not for everyone. I've even spoke about my native bloodline. My native bloodline is having a hard time, and I understand why. Everything has been taken in multiple ways from them, in multiple ways, and many, many, many of sufferings, yes. But haven't we all? Haven't we all been taken enough from? Haven't we all been not understanding how to get back to our roots and the truth of the mother and the father and what that is all around us in reality and within one another? And if we're really going to want to bring about the 7th and 8th fire prophecy, they're going to have to come out of their shells and teach things. See, being the bridge of multiple worlds, you're bringing things together. You're not here to segregate things or separate things. The divine is not separate. So why, in the reality that of truth that exists, are you trying to separate people still? Because it's a marketing ploy. It's a psyop. It's a thing to get people wrapped up. Don't get me wrong. The whole Palladian thing was really strong back in 2019, the star seed and so on and so forth. And I am not saying that we do not carry interdimensional stellar frequencies, that we exist in multiple different planes in one reality. That's not what I'm saying. But how many people got on that spiritual bandwagon and didn't have the spiritual foundation and the fortification to understand the discernment and what was really going on within them? And a lot of people were hurt spiritual-wise. And then they go with these people, and they go with these people and these mentors, and then what happens is then they're broken. Like, do you know how many people I've heard that mentors told them to leave everything behind, jump in their car, pack their life, and leave? People are still in that same spot from 4 years ago. That's not where they're supposed to be. As a mentor, as a leader, your fruits are not measured by the weight in material items. Your fruits are measured by those that you teach and those that you level up around you. That's your fruits. And I have a lot of fruit. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I am blessed. The people that are out there working right now and leading the pathways, I get to teach the teachers. I get to lead the leaders. And they're running their own show, and they're doing their own business, and they're taking and spreading the love and the message. And that's the fruits of my life. Did it come at a cost? No. Maybe to them, but only to find their way in which they were once lost. That's all. And I'm tired of seeing these messed up programs and these people get lost. And it comes at a cost. It comes at their own cost. How many people I've seen that got thrown into psychosis and then into mental wards and mental institutions because they were led the wrong way. I've heard of mentors having people locked up in places and Airbnbs and houses, and you're not allowed to have food and you're not allowed to have cell phones, but I'm going to blow smoke up your nose and lick a frog. Are you fucking kidding me? How many people are you going to sit here and hurt? And this is just another one of those psyops, is to get people separated, to make them think that they are a part of something, which they truly are a part of something. They're a part of Creator's plan. They're a part of the divine plan. But they're not separate in unison from any other reality. And the lady that even made those 7 videos even eventually quoted and said, everyone's really part of Group 7. There is no separation. It was a social experiment, a ploy, and the algorithm worked it just the way it was. The algorithm did it. Because in a way where you can separate people and diversify people in spirituality is just not another way to unison in Christ consciousness reality. It's still a separation. It's not preparation. It's not preparation for the true coming online within Christ consciousness. Group 7 is a false illusion. It truly is. It was made up to be another psyop and another spiritual intrusion. just like all the other ones that you have found. What broke my heart the most is seeing how people didn't have spiritual discernment. They jumped on the bandwagon. They went, choo-choo, I'm a part of Group 7. Because you know why? It was made to feel mystical. It was made to feel that way. The divine is mystical. It's within yourself. You have to understand and know the pathways within yourself. And I know that it sounds like I'm talking some over your heads, but it all starts within yourself. The patterns, the behaviors, the limiting beliefs, the spiritual, flavor, and the things that you put your energy, time, and effort and love into. It took me It took me 40 years to love myself. I liked myself. I was a pretty cool chick. I was a really pretty cool chick growing up. Now, I had some fucked up behaviors, and I had many limiting beliefs. And I had many insecurities and many doubts and many bondages of myself that I had placed upon myself because of other people's realities. I had multiples of strongholds. I had multiples of demonic experiences. 110%. You don't get to be where I sit and not. I had to learn it. I had to breathe it. I had to eat it. I had to sleep it. I had to discern it so that I could teach it. Not preach it. I'm not here to preach. I don't preach anything but what it is that truly you seek. And what you seek is an understanding within oneself. And I was told many, many years ago, the collective problem is a spiritual identity loss. And I was here to help them solve. The riddle is in with yourself. The folded map's in hand. It's all about your sacred divinity and what you hold true to be sacred to you. It took me 43 years to figure out how to love myself. I liked myself. But to love myself is on a completely different experience of a level. Loving yourself means you understand yourself and you put no one but the divine above yourself. My husband doesn't come before me. My kids don't come before me. The only that comes before me is my relationship with the Creator and the divine. That's it. Because if I lose that, I'll lose everything else. If I lose that, I will lose everything else. Because if I don't have that internal connection to reflect upon my own conscious awareness of what's going on within myself, to see what's going on outside of everything else, I'm going to get lost in this matrix, because I did. Many times. I thought I was supposed to be this. I thought I was supposed to be that. I thought I was supposed to be a medium. I thought I was supposed to be a psychic. I thought I was supposed to be a tarot reader. I thought I was supposed to be a pet psychic. I thought I was supposed to be an energy healer. I thought I was supposed to be this. I am everything and everything is me. I am all of those things. And way more. And so are you. But you don't understand you. You don't understand why you have the limiting beliefs or the doubts or the insecurities and why they keep creeping up and why you keep having the thoughts. How do you stop the thoughts? That's what everybody asks me. How do you stop it? First, you got to become aware of the patternized behavior that you're doing and that you're putting out there. How do you do that? Through mindfulness. Through mindfulness practice. How do we do that in Shamanic Life Coaching? We teach people how to do that. We walk hand in hand, because the more people that I have taught about themselves, now I didn't teach them, I gave them the tools. They used the tools in which the divine gave to me to give to them. And every path is different. There's no soul that is the same. I can't treat anyone the same. It's like having a massage client on the table. The folded map in hand, the blueprint, the sacred destiny, what made you up, what you came here to do, your purpose, your legacy, the generational things, all of those things. They're all unique and all different to everybody's blueprint, so you can't treat one the same. It's like they do in the prescription game where they give this, multiple people the same prescription and think that it's going to work for everybody, right? Can't do that as a shaman. Everybody is different, but everybody responds to the energy the same. The energy signatures here. And so what we mean is it'll repeat the pattern. It'll repeat itself in different ways, but it'll be the same energy. Different person, different place, different trigger, but it will be the same energy behind it. And that's one of the things that we first started teaching people to do. You have to recognize the energy behind it. It might be a different person, it might be a different scenario, might be a different day, might be a different color, but the energy behind it is the same. That's how you start to realize how people are mirrors or NPCs or whatever that is that you've got going on in your reality. The more you become aware of you, the more you become aware of everything else. Perspective is everything here. And it's attuning to the energy of the frequency, which has always been there for you to be able to grasp in reality, but yet you haven't been able to see through the emotional places and spaces within your gate systems, which are just your chakra systems inside your body. The 7 deadly sins are the lower levels of the 7 chakras. And then most people go to the overindulgence part, and then they finally balance out. That's why a lot of you guys have felt like that pendulum swing, you know, where it's like you're clearing that shit out, and then you swing to the top, and you're like overbalanced, right? And then you finally balance out. Most of the time, people are either over or underbalanced, or not even active in their gate systems. And so we get them to start to recognize them. We teach that stuff on all levels, all about the chakra system. The chakra system is everything. And the electromagnetic frequency that you feel in your heart space, it's your lie detector. It's what's picking up the frequency outside of you. I had to remind my husband of this today. He's like, I'm like shaky, and I'm like, Jay, that's because the energy outside of you that you're feeling on your auric field, honey, it's shaky. Your heart is picking up. You're responsive to that. Remember your tritosphere. You're also going through another ascension. So you're going to feel that your body, remember, it's the energy in motion. So your body has no other choice to do but kind of shake and go through that resonance. So it's the energy releasing from the body. That's awesome. That's wonderful. Many of us are earth angels. There's many of us here that are. And there's many of you that hold the different codes and the frequencies. A lot of us hold the same frequencies. Do you think the divine was stupid enough to like put one frequency in one person this time? No. That's why it's all split up. That's why there's multiples of us. There's not one specific entity that is not broken up. Plus you have to remember, sir, that those are all archetypes. So what I mean by that is those are all archetypes that are made up by the collective consciousness as well. So be careful of where you go with that on a prideful ego trip, just to be cautious, because a lot of us hold higher frequencies than what you hold, sir. And in that space and in that place, there's no diversity here. There's many people that hold the same frequency as you right here in this place and in this space. But I'm glad you made yourself known. And I'm glad that you feel better now. So thank you. And when you're in this place of the embodiment of the electromagnetic fields of what you're going to, you did? I did too. There's been a lot of them. Gabriel, Uriel, Ezekiel. My favorite is Master Saint Germain. And the divine itself. A lot of us are trained by spirit. That's wonderful. So, in a long way to get where you're going, it all starts within your prism. So, one of the ways that we'll talk about today that you can protect yourselves from other people's energies when you come into a group, it's called the Maharic Shield. The Maharic Shield is a 12-dimensional shield, and the Maharic Shield has to do with your energy body. I teach people how to do this, and we work through this space to get people to understand how to activate that shield. Because a lot of times when you're in group settings, it's uncomfortable, you're feeling other people's energies, and, it gets murky and stuff. and you want to be a part of that meditation, and you want to be a part of that group nature, but you don't want to open yourself up to what everybody else has got, right, in their auric field and seep that out. So we teach the Moharic shield, the 12D shield, and that's a level of working with your intuition, working with seeing. Jesus Christ, Yeshua is amazing. Yeshua is my best friend, dude. No shit. When I was 17, I drew a full picture of Yeshua. He doesn't look the way that people portray him to look. And he even showed me when he was in his carpenter self before he actually became Jesus of the Christ. So he showed me himself before his becoming. And sir, you're at a very lower level of your becoming. So you're becoming too, but you're becoming on your own pathway into Christ consciousness as well. So Yeshua is absolutely divinely awesome. So you're finding a lot of things that in your energy centers that just don't resonate, right? And those things, those limiting beliefs, or those ways that you used to keep yourself in bondage, or what we call purgatory, right? Because we keep ourselves there. We keep ourselves there. So the energy is pretty clear. It's like somebody said something to you when you were 12, or you crapped on yourself and you didn't believe in yourself, or whatever that energy or scenario was. Well, yeah, you get over it, but it's pre-programmed in the subconscious. So you continue to patternize that behavior with different things that you say, different multiple beliefs, different pathways of things. And so that's the layers that you've got to get through. And yeah, it can be a mother generational thing, a father generational thing. It can be a relationship thing. It can be a thing that you create in your own karmic experience. So there's a lot of things that you have to undo in the layer system. The wholeness of the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit. Because you've seen a lot of people where maybe they've treated the mind and maybe they've treated the body, but they haven't treated the soul and the spirit, and they're still in a place of dis-ease or disorder or discomfort, right? And that's because you can see the imbalance in the frequency. So you're going to see a lot of that different diversity here as you start to go through the layers in more spiritual ways. You're going to sit here with yourself. So many people in this room right now have removed so much, man. And this is what I'm just naturally picking up. So many people have not only lost so much, but they've gained so much, is what I'm being told. You might have lost so much on a material level, on a personal level, but you have gained so much within yourself. And I do not believe that the divine of my understanding and the way that I've been spoken to and the way that I've been worked with, I do not believe that the divine allows bad things to happen to good people. I truly feel and resonate, and Spirit has shown me multiple times that different energies, different monitoring spirits, different demonics will cause those things to occur. But then the divine uses it as its footstool, as a lesson learned, and braces you with that glory, because it's your story, but it's God's glory. It's the divine's glory. And when I use the word God here, I'm not speaking in biblical context. You have to understand that when I say God, it's the understanding of the divine feminine and the divine masculine aspect. But a lot of people are triggered by that word still because they put it into a religious context, where to me, it's an understanding of overall source, divinity, energy, sacredicity, whatever you choose to call it, whether you choose to call it life force energy, chi, kai, universal energy, God, divine, source, okay? There's many different labels to it. And one of the reasons that we break those labels down, and we break down Babel, which is something that I was always given in the transcription that they gave to me a long time ago that many of you heard, right? Frequency turned to word, left your voices unheard. There was no such thing as spoken word. It was all frequency and telepathic communication. It all started out in syllable relation. Even a lot of us have even forgotten what the syllables of A, E, I, O, and U even meant in spoken language, and it all relates back to the medicine wheel and spirit and element and stuff like that. And so in that language, there was no language. It was all frequency and telepathic communication. And so that's why I teach people, you know, people may say one thing, but that's how you know something different. Hey, Jay, thank you. But that's how you know something different, right? Like somebody said something to me today, they looked me dead in my eyes, and I was like, you lying. I can see through all that. I can feel. Like, people forget that we read energy. What's going on, Nanny? We read energy, right? So we can feel things. And we feel things before we even understand them or know what those things are, right? And so, you know when somebody's being a shit, you know when somebody's being snide, it's like, yeah, they might have a nice tone of voice, but you can tell the energy behind it. You've picked up on all that. You've learned so much. You've learned to trust. And so, like, it's kind of like, not saying that you guys are selfish by any means whatsoever, but you deserve to be a little selfish right now in your energy and not connecting to so many outside falsitivities. That's one thing that I was told to tell you guys. Whatever you guys are coming into in your existence of reality, you've earned it. A lot of you have self-made prophecies that are coming into reality, is what they just said to me. So congratulations to each and every one of you. And when I say a self-made prophecy, like, man, that's a wish. That's a, oh, I want to get a new job, and I got a new job. And that's a, okay, I want to get a new car, and now I'm going to set this up to get a new car. There's always footwork to do. You always have to move the energy and move the wheel, but it doesn't mean that spirituality isn't real and your team doesn't open those doors. And you wouldn't believe at how much your team has done for you guys, is what they're showing me, even on the back ends of things you don't even know, things you don't even see, things that they help you get aligned with to become a dream in your reality. It's the right person at the right time, at the right place that the divine is putting you in line with. In a world full of divine order, there are no coincidences or mistaken order in that way. Meaning, those opportunities show themselves. It's about you being able to understand how spirit speaks to you and to discern those things. Hey, Bam, what's going on, lady? So a lot of the things that are going on in spirituality, it's another layer of falsitivity. It's another layer to get people wrapped up into something that's not true within themselves, to make them feel like they're a part of something, but what they don't even realize is that they're already a part of something. People don't even realize. I have so many people that come to me and go, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make videos? How am I going to do this on social media? Yeah, my career on social media started in 2019. But I'll tell you the way the divine is working with me and moving me. There was a message I gave probably about 3 months ago, and I said, watch out, man. The divine is using its prophets, its energy healers, its seers, its oracles in many different ways. And what I saw was the divine using us in way more physical ways rather than social media platforms, because it had been so resistive and so overcome with grim and right? So a lot of people were looking for new pathways or new connections. Well, you guys can find me over on YouTube in that reflection. So I'll be doing a lot more work over there rather than here. But I was asked to present this here tonight about this information and make it pretty clear that you guys are in parts of your sovereign nation, which means you're regaining your strength, you're regaining your understanding of what it is to be in sovereignty, to be in peace. I've had 2 people tell me the last 2 days all they want is peace, and I've looked at them and my husband's looked at them and said, well, that starts inside. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they're complete disassociation. Because everybody's peace looks differently. My peace doesn't look like your peace, which doesn't look like that peace or this peace or anybody else's peace. Because we all have a different reality of what peace is, right? But based upon their own projected reality, they couldn't even give me what peace was to them. Why? Because they don't know themselves. their spiritual identity within themselves is lost. They don't know what they are in this reality. They don't know how to give themselves the time, the patience, the love, the trust, the building of the relationship between themselves, their team, and the divine. And that's a pretty sad place to be, because if you can't be in a complete cabin in the middle of nowhere and be in peace, and you can't be in your safe place and be in peace, then the problem would mean that you're not in peace. You're very welcome about that, Falcon. I had a hard time. I did, because I was like, oh shit, because they told me a while ago that I was gonna, they give me fair warning. And Falcon, they told me about 2 months ago that I was gonna start some shit. I was gonna be a part of controversy. And the reason that I knew that is because they kept giving me the song Eminem, Look Who's Back. And I was supposed to stir the pot in spiritual controversy and teach everybody what they thought versus what it really is in this reality. And I knew I was going to ruffle some feathers, and I was like, okay, here we go. And they were like, yeah, you're gonna tell them the truth about Group 7. You're gonna tell them that it's another experiment, that it's another ploy, that it's another separation. It's not a unison of nations. It's a separation of nations. It's another thing to make people feel like they're a part of something when they're already a part of something really big. And where I was going with that a minute ago, thank you. But where I was going with that a minute ago is I get to work with people. I'm blessed. And my fruit comes from their blessings, right? Meaning they tell me that I've saved their life. They tell me that I've helped them this way. They tell me that they wouldn't be there. And I'm like, listen, I just gave you the tools. I taught you. I gave you the tools, and I taught you how to use the tools, but you did the work behind that. Those 5 days that we necessarily weren't together working, you did that. People don't understand how much of a ripple effect they have within themselves, within their family, within their community, when they change their reality into a more Christ-centered, Christ-consciousness, heart-open vibration to understand. I said a while ago that you were going to have to really know your discernment when it came to the things that were being placed in the algorithms of things. And it's true. Why would all of a sudden this huge bandwagon of these groups be made first? That should be your first question. Wait a minute, what is this about? Why is this being shown to me? What's going on here? This doesn't feel right in my body. And I bet you 10 to 1, Falcon, your heart went, oh, this is really cool, but your gut went, don't be a fool. But you bypassed that. You bypassed that belly button. And to each their own, it's the point in what you're being shown that it's another layer of an experiment. And I sat here and I even sat with the divine and I was like, psyop, and I was like, is this another witch hunt? Just tell me. Is this another witch hunt? To take the spirituality out of things, the true reality of spirituality? Just let me ask that question. I can't deny that that's not one of the reasons that it can be used. Remember, there's always the ladder of the two. Wherever it's a balance of everything here. Wherever the negative, when you have something negative happen to you, you know that the ladder exists. You know that the positive's going to happen, but you're only seeing it as bad for the soul level of growth. You're even pulling away from the layers of what's good or what's bad right now. You're even pulling away from the layers of good or bad. You're just seeing things for what they are and learning this soul level of growth of experience and going, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to see by this? What am I supposed to be in this for? Remember, you guys have done so much work to get where you are. Don't get caught up now. Don't get caught up now. You didn't make it this far to only get this far and to get stuck by some type of superficial spirituality psyop that's getting you not to be in the truth of reality of of separation. It's another way to separate people. It's another way to make one feel greater than another. I made that video and somebody commented on that video and was like, damn, I actually thought I was a part of something special. My heart dropped. I was like, I was torn apart. I could feel his pain. And I was like, you are a part of something special. But what you're a part of, you can't feel necessarily because you don't understand yourself. And if that person would have had the God-given security within themselves to be like, yeah, you're right. You know, and I can't wait to reach out to that person later on tonight because that's where I was told to go. So I will go. But you guys have learned so much trust within oneself. And it's you guys are about to change your realities. You can feel it all around you. This is why things have been all different. This is why things have not felt the same, looked the same, all of that, because you were in the middle of the split of the time. So we've been in one concurrent timeline, and then that split. It was all part of the eclipse energy. The eclipse energy is over and done with as of the 21st on the new moon energy. So you were in the split, right? And you're in between both worlds, and you're like, ew, I can't go back to that. I can't do that the same. Maybe you changed the how, maybe you changed the why, maybe you changed the perspective, but you couldn't go back to the same narrative and the same directive of energy. And every time that you would try, you would kind of get stuck there for a minute and kind of feel like you were getting pulled down, and then you were like, nope, I'm back over here, I'm staying here, right? But you were straddling that energy. It's the doorway. It's the hallway of the experience. It's what people say is the desert, right? And you're in the middle of that, and things feel awkward, and things don't look right, and it's the illusions, and Pluto, and retrograde, and all those things going on. Uranus is having a heyday in Gemini right now, and about to go backwards into Taurus even more come November the 7th. So there's still going to be a lot of change. There's a lot of change. Nothing can remain the same anymore. Everything has to change, and it's because the frequency and the perspective has changed of the collective. And the more that you stay in alignment and not on some type of bodily consignment, is what Spirit's saying to me, the more you'll be in Christ consciousness, the more you'll feel the detachment of what is versus what is real. And this is a huge split that you're seeing. There's so much truth that it's like you can't even deny yourself your own sense of accountability when you know you fucked up. Thank you, Jill. You can't. Talk about going back to like what we call a 4-step 24/7. Because the moment that you are coming from a lower level unawareness, the whole body goes, and then feel like you're getting energy backhand from somewhere, and then Spirit's in your ear. You can't. Even your team, it's like you try to cross the street, you can't even cross the street anymore. You can't do it the same. You can't feel about it the same. That's all because your frequency has changed. It's all because the way that your perspective has changed. It's all the amounts of limiting beliefs, or where you shut yourself off, or where the stronghold was, or where you were bartering with yourself. I don't know who was bartering with themselves, but where they were bartering with themselves, right? Oh, well, I'll do this if I do this later, or I'll do this now and then I'll do this later. It's like you're bartering with yourself in a back and forth measure, right? And a few of you think you're talking to yourself in your head, but it's really a different type of frequency that's coming through, but it sounds like your voice and your resonance. Just know that that's part of your spiritual team speaking to you and giving you guidance. All right. Thank you for allowing me to hang out with you guys tonight. If you